Hey, good morning folks. It's Schwell here doing another video. This one I'm going to call an overview. Just this past weekend I had the opportunity to purchase a G&P Magpul PTS M4 and I jumped at the opportunity. You know, over the Christmas break 2011 I got rid of tons of guns. A couple of weeks after that I had a game to go to. It was a free game offered at Combat City here in Orlando, and let's just say I regretted not having some spare guns. I did have one or two spares, but those were already spoken for because I invited some guests to the game with me. You guys know that I've done overviews of G&P guns and how much I like them. This one is my third one in my collection in the last year and a half, 2 years, and so far so good. I'm still impressed with the build quality, especially the externals. I will note that the handguard in the stock did not come on the gun. When I got the gun from the previous owner, it did not have a handguard in the stock on it, and I think that played a big part in why I got the deal that I got for it. And I had these parts laying around. These are some Chinese cone parts, and I thought, let me just put them to use. They look great on the gun. The body is a Magpul traded. It's the G&P version. You guys know what their externals are like. Again, I'm not a huge fan of trades, but I can appreciate them when they're nice, and especially as nice as this is concerned. The gun came with the mock suppressor. This one has Delta Force trades on it. It says Delta Force equipment, has the patent number, model numbers, manufacturer, serial number, all of that stuff. And if you look at this end, it's dual threaded, meaning that it's counterclockwise on one end and clockwise on the other end. And this is a G&P, so you know it's clockwise, and it's also 14 millimeters. The aim point, this aim point is what came on the Viper that I had, and I've kept it and have gone from gun to gun. The original mount that came on that one, the screw that actually held it tight on the gun snapped one day, and I had to go with this high-rise ring, and it works great because even with my goggles and the half mask that I wear, it still gives me a great position. Even with all of that stuff on, I can still look down this aim point. So it worked out for me. I added a rear M-bus because it wasn't on there. Again, the previous owner went from this gun to a Polar Star. So he took all the goodies off of this gun that were actually compatible with the Polar Star and threw that on there. And again, he wanted to cut his, his cost because those Polar Stars are very pricey. I switched the inner barrel. It now has a Magpul 6.03 Type bore barrel. I don't remember what the distance is, but it does go into the mock suppressor all the way to the end. Internally, it's bone stock. It's wired to the front. I'm running 7.4 volt, 1300 milliamp hour LiPo batteries. Those have a 25C discharge rating, and I'll mention that briefly when I do the chrono and show you the chrono video. And has the G&P M120 motor, the MOE grip, got the stock, got the handguard. It's pretty much Magpul'd out. This is my first, or my second gun that was Magpul'd out like this, the first one being the PTS. I don't even really count the A&K because I had that for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Based on the FPS that this gun is shooting, I'm going to keep this gun as stock as possible. The only thing that I may change is I may rewire it, wire it to the rear so that I can use the buffer tube LiPos that I usually use. Though those same LiPos do fit in the handguard, so I'm not really sure if I'm going to change that or not. But it all depends on what the wiring is like. I'm going to go through and I'm going to tear this gun apart. I'm going to look at everything. I may change the gears to the JG gears only because of my previous experience with the G&P gears, the G&P piston. Usually the gears take the piston out, so I can't really say that the piston's been a problem. You'll notice in the chrono video, I'm using the Warhead 9mm conversion kit. And a lot of you guys saw that video that I did a few months back explaining that I got these from Airsoft Atlanta. Well, because this gun is within usable FPS limits for every game here in Florida, a lot of the games that I do go to are mid-cap only because I don't really like high caps that much. I wanted to use this conversion kit. Now, I bought a ton of these, so I have enough to actually have a complete kit and use these. So, as you can see here, this is what the gun looks like with the conversion kit. It's very well put together, and I know this isn't the first video on YouTube overview going over one of these guns, but So far so good. Oh, I also put an SES nub in there and a Systema bucking. That T just wouldn't come out, oh my God. But those are modifications that I make to every gun that I get. I go through and I change that bucking and nub combination to something that I know consistently works. This one has, that combination has worked great for me, and this gun is no exception to that. It gets great range, good accuracy. I'm extremely satisfied with the purchase. Again, this was a bargain buy. This was almost garage sale pricing that I got this gun for. And no, I didn't swindle some little kid. I got this from a guy whose collection mirrors mine. He has more guns than I do, and his work area probably consists of more parts than mine does, which is kind of hard to believe. I think there's 5 or 6 people in the state of Florida that have more airsoft stuff scattered around their house than I do. But the beauty of these conversion kits, you press the regular mag release and the whole kit comes out. So if something were to happen, it breaks, or there was a failure with the magazines, or it wasn't feeding correctly, whatever the case may be, I can always pop those out and go back to my regular Snag mags. But so far so good. I'm not a huge fan of how it looks, but I am a huge fan of being different. So this kit is going to work out well. I don't have to worry about my mags being mixed up with anybody else's, because as far as I know, in the group of guys that I hang out with at games, I'm the only one with the conversion kits. So it works out really well for me. Fit, finish, everything is where it's supposed to be, feels the way it's supposed to feel. The gun is extremely lightweight and maneuverable. It's not too long, it's not too short, it's just the perfect length. It's actually very comparable to my other G&P, the LMT. Now with both stocks completely collapsed, if you can see that, they're about the same length. I mean, you take away 2 or 3 inches, and that's the difference. But again, I made up for the difference. In this one, I added the longer inner barrel. This one also has a longer inner barrel that comes right to the tip as well. There is a substantial weight difference between the two, because this one has a lot more metal to it. I mean, you got the Riz, it's completely metal, whereas this one you have plastic parts in all the right places, keeping the weight down. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the MOE handguard on this gun or not. I'm still in the planning stages as to where I want to put the gun, where I want it to be. I do know that I'm adding an Extreme Fire Panther MOSFET so I can have controlled rates of fire. Also control over the firing mode, because 3-round burst with a real cap magazine, because this magazine doesn't hold many BBs, will give you the feel of more ammo. This test is being performed with Elite Force biodegradable 0.20 gram BBs. I saw as low as 377 and as high as 392. I'm going to average this one out based on what numbers are coming up consistently between 383 and 386. So it's right there in that little window. This is with 0.20 grams. This is below 400 FPS, which is in some places great because here in Florida we have variations in what the FPS limits are from field to field. Some fields are 365 with 0.25s, some are 400 with 0.20s, some are use what you got and make sure that the gun is shooting around 400 FPS with whatever weight you want. There's so many different variations. Having multiple guns is a benefit, especially for a person like me who plays everywhere. Now let's get some full auto burst in here to see what the rate of fire is. This is with a 7.4 volt 25C Tenergy battery. These are the batteries that I get from Hobby King, and please stay tuned. I'm going to do a video explaining what batteries I use and why. "15 rounds per second seems to be where it's at, right at 15 rounds per second. The gearbox does sound a little off, so maybe I need to adjust the motor height. Maybe I need to go in and check a couple of things. This seems awfully slow for a G&P high-speed motor, if that is in fact what's in here. I got the gun used, but the gun is only 2 months old, and we'll see what's going on and see what is actually in, and I'll break that down in the overview, so stay tuned for that. Thanks.